Ode Yusuf with Orange Nation TV here with Coach Bussey of the Valhalla Varsity football team. Coach, you guys had a great game against Steel Canyon on Friday, brought that Hamisha helmet back, your first one. What was the emotion of the game before the game, knowing coming into this that you hadn't won one, and then after the game knowing you finally got it?
Of course, Granite Hills is the traditional rival of Valhalla, but over the last few years, Steel Canyon really become a pretty intense rivalry. Unfortunately, more times than not, they've won that rivalry at the varsity football level. But this year, we had an opportunity to get the seniors their first win against Steel Canyon and bring that Hamisha helmet back, and it was really exciting to be part of that. The kids were fired up from the beginning. One of our assistant coaches, Winston Martin, gave the pregame speech and really had to get the kids motivated coming in. You might not be able to tell from falling into a 14-0 hole as we did, but the kids fought back hard and really played well towards the end.
And you guys, did come off slow, as you just said. 14. You were down by 14 points in the beginning, but eventually came back to be up by 2 touchdowns and get the win. What changed from that? And it's been going on the whole season, starting slow and then coming out strong. Did anything change in this game specifically?
We tried to change some things up to try to get ourselves to come out to a faster start, and unfortunately we weren't successful with that. But to the kids' credit, as the game went on, they got up to a 14-point lead, and by halftime we were able to tie it up. In the second half, they had a big score, but once the defense brought back an interception on a big play on interception, that really changed the momentum for us.
And before the half ended, there was 2 touchdown plays that could have been touchdowns, but unfortunately because of penalties were put back. And same thing, there was a lot of penalties compared to the Grossmont game as well. What's happening? What do you tell your team after things like that could have changed the momentum of the game?
It's hard because players and coaches would like to be able to point the finger at the referees and say, hey, wait a second, why aren't we getting the calls as well? But when we look at the flags individually, more times than not, the refs are correct and we've done something we shouldn't have done. It's something we were aware of, something we definitely need to clean up heading into the playoffs. We hope to get where we want to go.
And speaking of playoffs, you guys are playing Granite Hills next week, and they haven't done so well this year, but nevertheless, you guys will still play hard, as I assume. But assuming you guys make it into the playoffs, and then your team continues on plays really hard, what are your expectations? How do you think you guys will do as well as you have in years past?
Well, at the beginning of the season, every coach's goal is just to make the dance. At this point, we've pretty much secured ourselves a spot in the playoffs. Hopefully a home game that first round. And then once you're in, anything can happen. Unlike a basketball or baseball series where there may be multiple games, it's one game. Anybody can win on any given Friday night. So getting into that dance is the key, and we've done that. Getting a home game only helps our odds, and from there we roll the dice and see how they land.
And your offense throughout the season has definitely played very well. And your defense has played well as well, but improved, as games have come and gone in certain areas that you have seen in the scores of games. Do you think it's still the same way? Has the defensive power matched the offensive power that this team has been playing with?
I think the defense, ever since about mid-season, really turned it on, really gelled, started flying around the football, and we're now starting to see the dividends of that. 5 interceptions last week, 4 sacks in the previous game against Grossmont. Had a few sacks and a few turnovers as well. So we're really starting to see the dividends of their hard work, and they're starting to be mentioned a little bit with the offense. I think Valhalla the last few years has been an offensive-oriented team. They tend to get publicity, and we're a high-scoring team, which is great. But the defense is starting to make it.
And the last question, Coach. You have 43 seniors on your team this year, and obviously that's a lot for the size of your team, and you're going to have a lot of juniors and sophomores coming into varsity next year. What's going to be different, do you think, as a head coach coming into next season with all these seniors, leaving?
It's kind of a mixed bag in the sense that we have a lot of seniors this year, but I would say a good quarter of them were guys that weren't really experienced. They had left the program for one reason or another as a junior or a sophomore. sophomore who's just coming back, having not played in a few years. So where you might think 43 seniors with a ton of experience, there was a handful that just didn't have that experience. But even more so next year, with the loss of so many seniors, we are going to have to be a little bit less experienced. We're going to have to maybe dial back some things a little bit here and there, which is okay because it allows us to really focus on the fundamental aspects of our defense and our offense. And at the same time, when you're starting with younger players, they're going to get a chance to grow over the next couple of years and really get to understand the offense and defense. So as we work our way there, we obviously hope to have great seasons, but as the time progresses, we should get better and better and better.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck next week.
Appreciate it.
Go to East for JCT.
marching band, award-winning marching band, and actually did very well this last week at Mount Carmel. In fact, I believe they brought home third place in their division, which is impressive. It's a big competition up at Mount Carmel High School, and their band, their drum major actually got 5th overall in that competition. Once again, just another tribute to what Richard Alamans has done with this program here at Valhalla, continuing to be a successful program, and one that every Norseman can be very, very proud about. And we're about ready to get this ball game started, and the Valhalla looks like they're going to come out and line up to return this kick, and we'll get all those people squared away here shortly. Ode, any awesome closing remarks before we get a start to this, what should be a good night for the Orange?
Well, the season finale is going to be the last game is going to be a rivalry game, and definitely something exciting leading into playoffs that hopefully the Norsemen is going to be successful in competing in.
All right, so right off the bat, we're going to get a delay of game penalty against Valhalla, and I don't know if that's because our senior night and band performance took too long. If that's the case, I'll tell you what, we're here for high school football. This isn't, granted we're webcasting this, but I'd like to know if that's really because of the late start that we got. And if that's the case, I guess I don't agree with it, Ode. I mean, we're here for the kids, and they are getting paid to be here. So anyway, I'll just leave it at that. That might be totally out of line. I'm not sure what exactly it was all about, but delay a game nonetheless against the Norsemen to start off. And here's the kick by number 3, Jackson Whirling. And the kick is going to be bobbled by Kevin Mills. Mills up to the right-hand side. He's down the sideline. He's going to get pushed out of bounds at about the 36, 37-yard line. So despite the flag, it actually gave Kevin Mills maybe a little bit more room to return that kick. So Valhalla is going to have nice field position to start this first drive. Those of you at home, Granite Hills is in the all-white, and it appears that Granite Hills made some changes to their helmets this year. In the past, they had the traditional almost Philadelphia eagle wings on the helmet. Now they have an eagle on the helmet. I actually kind of missed those big eagle wings that they had before. Ramsey Romano in the pistol tonight, and he's going to have a pass complete to Kevin Mills. Kevin Mills is going to catch that ball for a first down. He'll be into Eagle territory, and a group of Eagles. Is that a gaggle of Eagles? Maybe we should look that up. I'm not sure what appropriate word is for a group of Eagles. I think it's gaggle, but I could be wrong. Those of you that are into that sort of thing, you can email us at orangenationtv@gmail.com and tell us what exactly a group of Eagles would be called. Kevin Mills is in motion and already into Eagle territory. Handoff to Jefferson. Jefferson's going to have another first down. Looked like number 21, Jason Hunyer, was one of the Eagles that brought down Jefferson. So coming into this game, as you can see, Valhalla's moving the ball, and they've moved the ball quite easily with the exception of Helix in the league. Now, just the exact opposite, Granite's on average losing league games 45-7. In fact, they were shut out in 2 of those games. They've given up 182 points in 4 league games, which is not a number that you want, especially if you're only going to score 28, which is what they've done. Elder's on the carry there, and that's going to bring up second down, the first second down, I believe, of the game for the Norsemen. Trips right for Ramsey Romano, and we have Ben Howard to the far side, and we have Jefferson behind Ramsey Romano. Pass is going to be completed to Ben Howard. He cannot be brought down. He makes a nice move and gets another yard. So a first down for Valhalla. 10:43 left to go in the first quarter, and we're seeing what we thought we might see, and that is Valhalla being able to move the ball against a team that's given up a ton of points. First down from the 24-yard line. Ramsey's going to keep the ball around the right-hand side. Romano makes a move to the 5. He's going to walk it in for senior night touchdown number 1. Goes to a senior, very appropriate. Yeah. And just like that, not even 2 minutes into the game, just a little over a minute and a half, the Norsemen walk it in for 6 points, and here's Ian Hendrickson to try to make it 7. And you can hear the marching band playing the fight song, which is always a good song to hear if you're a Norseman. The snap is down, and the kick is up, and it's good. 10:25 left to go in the first quarter. Valhalla strikes first. Senior night off to a great start. And the Eagles are going to look to answer here. Now, if you look at the Eagles' schedule coming into here, they are 1-8 and 0-4 in league. And obviously that's probably nothing to write home about. And you'd have to guess that maybe the Eagles are just ready for the season to be over. And if that's the case, nobody could really think anything less of them, because it would be very difficult, you know, to be 1-8 and come in here. But typically in a rivalry game, you'd have to think that maybe they'll be playing for some pride in seniors' last game.
And it's the last game, their last game of the year, and they want to end it off against their rivals and, you know, do something. Even if they don't come out with the win, at least play a good game. That's right. And Granite has showcases 2 quarterbacks. They have a two-headed monster, if you will, to borrow a line from about every TV football analyst. And number 10, Blake DeHaven is going to leave that one in the end zone. No choice there. But anyway, they have 2 quarterbacks, a senior in Tyler Hopper, who's a 6'2", 290-pound senior quarterback, and they have Chris Meredith, who's a junior. It shall be interesting to see who gets the start tonight. And it looks like Tyler Hopper, the senior, is going to get the start tonight. And Tyler Hopper this year has thrown for about 490 yards and 3 touchdowns in some limited action. Now, you say only 3 touchdowns, but you know, Granite's been held out of the end zone in quite a few of their games this year. So 3 touchdowns may not seem like a lot, but maybe kind of an example of the tough season they've had. And his pass is going to be tipped and incomplete, I think intended for Eddie Pascal. That's going to be 2nd down. You're going to see a lot of different formations tonight from Granite. You're going to see some shotgun. You're going to see them under center. You're going to see some single back sets. You're going to see some power sets like you just saw. Looked like you had almost a double tight end look there with your receivers in tight. So you're going to see a couple different looks out of Granite tonight. Here's kind of an offset eye almost. Hopper under center. Fake to number 2, and that ball is complete off to the left-hand side for a number of yards. Goes Eddie Pascal. So not a bad-looking play there on 2nd down for the Eagles. They're going to put themselves in a situation where they have an opportunity to get a 1st down here. That's going to bring up 3rd down. 3rd down in a very, very, you know, short 3, or I should say a doable 3rd down here. So as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, 43 seniors for Valhalla tonight. And we sure hope that all 43 seniors get an opportunity to play quality minutes tonight. And if that's the case, then things will go well. Handoff to number 2. Jesse Bisbol is going to be well short of a 1st down, and that's going to bring up the first 4th down of the night for Granite Hills in their first series. 3 and out. Go the Eagles, and the Norsemen are going to come on to return this. And number 16 for the Norsemen, Sol Elder, is back for this punt return. If you watch the game, if you only watch one play from last week, you have to watch the Nehemiah Brown interception lateral to Sol Elder. And if you watch that, that's about as exciting of a play as that I've ever seen, as I mentioned in the highlight. And the punt is away. Sol Elder fields it at the 40. He dodges a tackle. He's into Eagle territory. He's going to be down the right-hand side to the 30. He's got 1.5 men to beat. Cuts it back to the middle, and he's going to be finding himself into the end zone. Touchdown, Norseman. Just like that, Sol Elder says, last week I wanted the ham shot helmet. This week I want just a touchdown return. And I believe that's our first punt return for a touchdown this season. At least it's the first one that I've witnessed. So with 8:40 left to go in the first quarter, Valhalla scores again. And with Ian Hendrickson's kick, it'll be 14-0 Norseman.
And with definitely an early lead in the game, so little time has gone by, it's important that Norsemen stay the same pace and don't slow down and give Granite a chance to come back on top or come past them.
Absolutely. And Ian Hendrickson's kick is up, and it is good. 8:40 left to go in the first quarter. Norsemen 14, rival Granite Eagles 0. Now, O'Day, what you said is absolutely right. This is the start that Charles Bussey, head coach of the Norsemen, wanted. I think he knew that they were the better team, and I don't want that to be misunderstood that we're down, ripping on Granite's efforts tonight. That is not the case. But Valhalla's a good team, and I think it's about time we start talking about Valhalla being a good team. I think people have recognized. I don't think you go 6-3 like they have with the schedule they have and not be a good team. So tonight was a lock of the week that they were going to do well against Granite. And they've showed that right off the bat. Now, what good couldn't come out of this is you're going to get some other players, preferably a bunch of seniors, some playing time at some point in this game. Obviously, it goes without saying, you want all your starters healthy and maybe sitting as early as you can. Now, we're only a couple series into this game, and I may be a little presumptive. We'll see how it unfolds. Ramsey Romano's kick is going to go into the end zone, unreturnable. Eagles are going to get another crack at it. And nothing to say they can't score. But kind of looking ahead for those at home watching this game, there's an opportunity to see a lot of different players in this game.
Yeah. And their defense specifically, we spoke to seniors during our preview this week, and many of them play defensive backs and hopefully can step up this defense. And we haven't been able to give Valhalla the credit they deserve in the opening of many games because they've come off slow, but they've been doing better recently, and they're definitely showing it in this game.
Granite has been shut out in 2 of their 4 league games, once against Helix, who shuts everybody out, including Valhalla, and Grossmont, who has a pretty stout defense as well. It's going to be a halfback passer, and he's got a guy wide open, and that's going to be a nice chunk of yards off the trick play. And a couple Norsemen are bringing him down. Looks like Nehemiah Brown would be one of the folks in there, and it looks like Miles Steed would be another. So nice pass off the handoff of the motion man, and Granite, just like that, Mr. Owens, you might want to keep your mouth shut because Granite came here to play, and they're already in Norseman territory. So obviously that's their first down of the game, and it comes on a fabulous play. And you know what? When you're 1-8, you got to run those kind of plays because you maybe can't line up and expect to do a lot of damage, but with a little trickeration, they had success. Handoff to number 2, right off the right-hand side, and that's a 7-yard gain for Jesse Bisbal. So we talked about being complacent. Maybe Valhalla's 14-point lead and the way they did it, maybe some people shut their motors off. And this is a coachable moment for Valhalla and their coaching staff.
Yes. And it's what Coach Bussey and what players have worried about, not getting off to a good lead and then just slowing down the rest of the game. And we've talked about it, here within the few minutes that the game has started, and probably be talking about it unless the Norsemen can just get back to their levels.
Tyler Hopper at quarterback for Granite, and didn't like the way it was set, and they're going to call a timeout on 2nd down and 3. So 7:33 left to go in the first quarter. 14-0 Norsemen on top of the rival Eagles. The Eagles, off a trick play, are able to set up inside Norseman territory. They'll have the ball on 2nd down, coming back on the 37-yard line. So those of you at home saying, well, what's next for the Norsemen? Win or lose tonight, they'll be going to the playoffs. We would like to say a win. So we're going to be maybe a little arrogant and presumptive. We're gonna pencil in a win for Valhalla tonight. And if you're a Granite fan, I apologize. We're Orange Nation TV. We try not to be that big of a homer, but we'll pencil in a win tonight for Valhalla. If that's the case tomorrow, Coach Butsy has an argument to make, and he can argue to be a 4 seed. Now, if Valhalla becomes a 4 seed, they'll get a home game, not next week, but the week after. If they are the 5th seed in Division II, they'll get a home game next week. So either way, they're getting a home playoff game. We're going to get another broadcast from Orange Nation TV that you can watch home at live, but it'll just be the difference between 4th and 5th seeds, which could make a bit of a difference in how you prepare. Hopper under center. He's got number 5 in motion, Michael Prieto. Back to pass is Hopper. The ball is complete to Prieto, and that's going to be a first down for the Eagles. So 2 first downs now in this drive, and the Eagles are looking much sharper than they have probably during a lot of their league games.
The early 3 and out was definitely not showing on this Granite offense right now, but Valhalla needs to make the stop here and not let them exceed any more than they already are.
So Hopper under center in the single back set. He's got 2 receivers to the left, and he's got Prieto as a tight end in motion coming across the play there. And he's going to hand off to number 2. And Jesse Bisbal, another nice carry. Jesse Bisbol is listed as a running back and a DB. He's a junior, just 5'6", 150 pounds, and Valhalla has struggled a little bit with smaller running backs this year. I know Grossmont had a running back that was similar size to Bisbol that had some success. So if you're a Granite Eagle fan at home, you can thank me maybe for jinxing Valhalla right now, because you have a nice little drive going on right here, and you're definitely still in this game. Down 2 scores, but if you score here, it's, you know, you could definitely put yourself in a position to make a run at it. I formation for the Eagles. Brisbol motions out of that out wide, the halfback. And play action pass for Hopper. He's going to let one go deep into the end zone, and that could be intercepted. We'll see what they say. That is an interception. That's a touchback, and that's Nehemiah Brown with the interceptions for 2 consecutive weeks. Nehemiah Brown picks off another quarterback, and just like that, the Eagles' hopes are dashed by a Nehemiah Brown interception. So nice drive there by the Eagles. And when you're 1-8, and unfortunately, in my experience, I've been played on some teams that had similar records, and you just seem to, you can't enjoy success when you're 1-8. You get something going, and you end up getting in your own way with a, you know, an errant pass there that gets picked off. Handoff to number 14. Warren Preston getting a carry there for the Eagles, or excuse me, for the Norsemen. So Warren Preston making his Valhalla debut here on senior night. Another one of those players that's going to get some time tonight that maybe hasn't this year. Jefferson gets the handoff, and that's going to bring up 3rd down. Okay, so 3rd down and just a short, not even a full yard, I don't believe, to pick up this 1st down for Valhalla. And I think we're going to get a timeout here by the Norsemen. They didn't like the way things were, and they're going to talk this over. Coach Colin Erdley, the offensive coordinator for Valhalla, I'm sure has a play here for 3rd and 1. After last week, it seemed like last week we didn't have a 3rd and 1 all night. It was always 3rd and 20 and those kinds of things. So tonight, a little bit more what you want to see out of a team. Valhalla up 14-0, like we said, establishing themselves early against an opponent that struggled this year. I guess if you were to be on this coaching staff for Valhalla, your hopes would be to, you know, put a couple more scores on the table before half, get a lot of your other players in, and really set the table, I guess, for your playoff run. And I do believe that Valhalla, you know, Valhalla has a great opportunity to do some damage in Division II. I think they're coming under the radar. They were picked at the beginning of this year. My favorite prediction at the beginning of this year picked Valhalla. I think East County Sports picked them to finish 2nd to last in the Grossmont South, and they've done nothing but win, except with the exception of one game against Helix, and that's a 1st down. In fact, when we talk about the prediction of being 2nd to last, Valhalla, if for some reason Steel Canyon can play the game of the century tonight against Helix, Valhalla will end up sharing the league title with Helix if that occurs. So from a prediction of almost worst to almost 1st, and Valhalla's had quite a nice season. Jefferson off the right-hand side, much bigger back, brings a lot of power with him. He's definitely the biggest of the backs that Valhalla puts on the field, and they're going to move the ball, 2nd down now. And should have about 3 yards roughly to go for another 1st down. That last play looked like it happened right over number 65, Michael Haskins. He's looks like a junior lineman who's come on strong for the Norsemen over the last half of the season. A little bit of pressure here. Ramsey Namrano's going to get brought down by number 97. And that's Richard Martinez, the Eagles D lineman, who makes a very nice play. Just as I was praising the offensive line, they give up a sack, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10. We have about 4 minutes left to go in the 1st quarter. Two receivers to the right and left, Rams Hermano in the pistol. He's going to look deep, and he's got a guy wide open. It's going to be incomplete. It was intended for Aeon Forsyth, and Forsyth is one of those seniors that getting some opportunities there. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. Yeah, excuse me, that was Ian Forsyth. I just misunderstood the spelling, and I apologize for that. So we have another Ian Hendrickson, back to punt here. And number 17, Michael Landsma, is going to field this punt. Makes a nice move. And a couple blocks here and there. You get a few yards on the punt return. So it's going to be first down for the Eagles. And, Valhalla, slowed down a little bit on that last series. They had a second and one, gave up a big sack, and then incomplete ball downfield. So Eagles feel like, they've been given another opportunity. And let's not forget last series, the Eagles were able to drive the field and get considerable yards through a trick play and also just through running the ball. Prieto in motion, and they're going to run to that motion side, and you're going to probably see a lot of that running to the motion side tonight as number 33, Kyle Norris, gets his first carry of the game tonight for the Eagles. So obviously the Eagles trying to get something going with the motion and power, running to that power side. A lot of teams like to do it. It's good, sound football. And definitely they are getting some rushing yards here. And so the Eagles have to be feeling pretty good. They are no slouch in terms of moving the ball early in this first quarter.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for coming out. Hey, we'll be back. You're welcome anytime. Thank you.
So the Eagles come to the line here on 2nd down and 6. And that Norseman defensive line hunkering down as they've really taken over the last 2 games. And speaking of taking over games, Prieto's carry is going to get brought down pretty abruptly by number 77, Trey Brown, who in the first couple of games he's played as a Norseman has made a huge impact. And you just saw that busting through the line and bringing Prieto down for a loss. So 3rd down and 7, that clock is rolling. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the first quarter. So here's your 3rd down here. Valhalla can do some damage here, get the ball back, and try to add to their lead. Hopper rolls to the right. He's not going to get much of a chance. Deshaun Tone just narrowly missed getting the sack. And number 95, Philip Diaz de Leon, had his legs, and a couple other people came and cleaned up the top. Looked like Giuseppe Castanos was also in there on that tackle. And it looked like Trey Brown was back there. So between Castanos, Trey Brown, and Philip Diaz de Leon, they cleaned up for what Deshaun Tone could not quite do. But either way, a team effort there. A loss on 3rd down brings up 4th down and 14. 1:30 left to go in the first quarter. Valhalla's going to get the ball back. And there's Sol Elder back to try to return this kick, see if he can return it for another touchdown. Shall be interesting to see where the Eagles kick this ball. Kick is away. Sol Elder is not going to get a chance to field this. It's could have bounced off. A couple of Eagles are claiming it bounced off a Norseman. There were some Norsemen nearby, but I don't know if it actually got their jersey. And let's face it, this is high school football. We don't have the benefit of a replay. So the officials are going to say it's going to be Norseman football on the 35-yard line of Valhalla. So far, what I've seen so far for tonight is we've seen pretty much your traditional starters for Valhalla out there. They've sprinkled in a couple players that maybe haven't seen as many reps here and there, but you're seeing your typical core so far early in this football game. Kevin Mills is in motion. He's going to get the ball. He's around the right-hand side. Nice lead block out there in front by John Boyd, and it's a first down. And look downfield, number 50, Cole Anderson, leading the charge. Once again, that's a good example of Valhalla's offensive line maybe not being the tallest players in the league, but they are quick and nimble. And you saw Cole Anderson getting downfield, making blocks, and doing quite a good job for the Norsemen. That's a first down for Valhalla, and they are going to draw off the Eagles there. And they're going to take an easy way into Eagle territory here. It'll be first down and 5 after they respot the ball. So 3 receivers to the left of Romano, and we have John Boyd to our near side here as you're watching it at home. Jefferson was in the backfield. Quick pass out to Kevin Mills. Kevin Mills fields this ball, and he's going to have a first down, but we have a flag way beyond the ball, and we can take some guesses, maybe a hold, maybe an illegal person downfield. We'll find out here. It was to Kevin Mills was but that reception may not stand depending on the upcoming flag. They're marking it off, but they didn't indicate what they're marking off. Well, there's your holding call from the White Hats. So mark it back here, and probably the biggest disruptor of the Valhalla offense so far tonight has been Valhalla itself. Valhalla is no stranger to penalties this year. Last week alone, they had a number of penalties, callback plays that we'd hope go for yards. There's a double reverse, 12 to number 1. Kevin Mills back along the right-hand side. There was a nice block by Justin Salee in the back, or not in the back, but a nice block nonetheless. Yeah. And they'll get a few yards there. So to break down that play, Daniel Rodriguez, a backup quarterback, number 12, got the ball after he came in motion, and he pitched it back to Kevin Mills. And they'll get a few yards here, and this is second down and 13 for Valhalla. And I don't know if they're going to snap this ball or not. There's 5 seconds left to go in the quarter. They may just take it to second quarter, and it does look like that's what's going to happen. So after one completed quarter, your Norsemen on senior night are up 14-0 over their rival Granite Hills. So Ode, what are your observations thus far?
Well, in the beginning they came out very strong, the Norsemen, but with a 14-0 lead with, I believe, 8 minutes into the with left in the first quarter. Now we're in the second quarter, but they started to slow down in some areas, but they've kept the Granite off the board, which is good for them, but I think they could have been doing a lot better than they were, and definitely pushing Granite much back than they were going forward. And I think they could have done better than they are and had more points on the board, but it's the game they're playing, and the good thing is they're up by 2 touchdowns, and Granite hasn't scored and gained that momentum that they needed.
Yeah, it's much better than the last couple weeks where we spotted our opponents' 2 touchdown leads and then had to fight back. Now, one thing I would like to point out is if Valhalla is fortunate enough to hold on to win tonight, and they seem to be playing at a little less than motivated pace right now. They look like they're playing a 1-8 team. There's a good chance they get that 4th seed. They don't have a game next week, and they have a bye. This is the last, 3 quarters left of their regular season in preparation for a playoff game. So I hope they pick up their intensity. That pass is going to be picked off a little over the head of Ben Howard, and number 20 for the Eagles is going to have himself a nice interception. Terrence Battle, nice catch by Terrence Battle. He's a senior defensive back from Granite. He's 6 foot, listed 175 pounds, and he just played the ball quite well off the tip of Ben Howard. Now, I'll tell you what, Granite is here to play. They have not rolled over, and that's a sign of a team that wants to win a rivalry game. But Valhalla better wake up. Last week we were saying Valhalla wake up down 14, and here we are up 14 saying Valhalla, you better wake up. The pass was a little overthrown, tipped. It'd been a heck of a catch by Ben Howard. If you'd been a little taller, maybe so. But nonetheless, the Eagles have the ball deep inside Valhalla territory. Handoff inside to Prieto, and Valhalla's going to snuff that one out pretty handily. Trey Brown and Deshaun Tone seem to be having their way up front. The great thing that I've seen evolve in the Valhalla defensive attack over the weeks is I would say, and this is why I hope Valhalla gets another crack at maybe a Helix or somebody like that in the playoffs, is Valhalla's defensive line, I think, has made some of the best improvements I've seen, and they're not tiny. Trey Brown, Deshaun Tone, and Philip Diaz de Leon, just to name 3 of those guys up front, are pretty big. And then you have Scott Perry coming off the edge sometimes, who's not necessarily as big as those guys, but he's quick and he's very strong. So Valhalla up front, I think, can match up with just about anybody, and they do have a lot of athletes in the secondary. Here's the pass. We do have a quarterback change. That pass is incomplete. That quarterback right there is Chris Meredith. He's a junior, a 6'1" junior. His pass is incomplete. 3rd down and 15 for the Eagles.
And the defensive line, Coach Bussey has said that the offenses on this team has usually been the one to get the credit for the games, and they've definitely been the the power player throughout the season. But he mentioned defense is coming to that equal and definitely participating and being a key part of winning their past games, especially in league.
And I would definitely say I'd give the last 2 game balls to the defense. I believe that they were the difference in Grossmont and Steel Canyon. I think without a doubt they outplayed them. And that's a screen pass to number 33, and he's going to get brought down quite viciously by Philip Diaz de Leon. That's, I'll tell you what, that's a well-played ball. That's a deep. Those of you that have played the game, the screen pass was complete to number 33, Kyle Norris. But one of the most difficult things at the high school level is to actually understand that a screen pass is coming. If you're playing on the defensive line, if you're overly aggressive, you're like, wow, I just beat my blocker and I'm going to make a big play. But you saw where Philip Diaz de Leon saw that screen coming and it was able to kind of lay low a little bit and made a huge play. So 4th down and 17. Granite's going to go for it. No surprise here. It's be a pretty sizable kick. You're down 14. You're 1-18. You have nothing left to lose. And Meredith clears the backfield. 3 receivers to his right, 2 to the top of your screen. He's got time. He throws the ball across the middle. Number 85 completes the pass. He's going to be brought down by looks 26, Keith Rogers, quite possibly was on the tackle. And that's not going to be enough for a 1st down either way. So Valhalla will get the ball back.
And while they're transitioning, we're going to go ahead and play our key offensive players and starters throughout the season.
Ramsey Romano, number 7, quarterback.
Jahad Elder, number 8, running back.
Ryan Macias, number 15, slot.
Kevin Mills.
All right, we'll get the rest of those back. Hands off to Elder. Jahad Elder off to the left-hand side. He's into Eagle territory. Nice big gain. We haven't seen much of Elder in the last couple weeks, but it's good to see him back. There's 3 running backs that that Valhalla could throw at you tonight. You have Jefferson, number 13, who's your bigger and bruiser back. He's significantly bigger. You have Jahad Elder, who's really a good running back in his own right. And then you have a change of pace back who's the quickest of all 3, and that's Nehemiah Brown. And that handoff to Elder again off the misdirection. But this time the Eagles read that play quite easily. Number 75, Cameron Davis of the Eagles brings down Elder for a loss on the play. 2nd down. So Valhalla needs to have a sustained drive here and put another touchdown on the board. I get a little nervous as Ramsey Romano comes out of the pistol. A little bit of pressure. He rolls to his left. He's going to let this ball go, and that ball's incomplete. Intended for Ben Howard. There was a whole host of Eagles right there in the neighborhood, but Ben Howard couldn't bring that ball down, and I think a couple of people wanted pass interference, but I just don't think you're going to get that call too often in that situation. 3rd down and 12, 9:13 left to go in the 2nd quarter.
No, you're right. I couldn't tell. I was making sure that was Ben. I missed that one too. I feel like on the same page tonight, which is scary. We're on the same page tonight. When you don't see it, I don't see it either.
So we'll see what the Valhalla can do on 3rd down. Pass incomplete, intended for Kevin Mills. Going across the middle is never easy. And I did like the fact that that Granite Eagles player kind of let up. They could have lit up Kevin Mills there, and he would have been a defensive receiver. But I'll tell you what, I like the sportsmanship displayed there by the Eagles there. You're very much in one of the most dangerous positions you could be coming across the middle there. That's a 4th down. The Eagles do their job again, and they stop the Norsemen. And Ian Hendrickson out to punt. And kind of try to dribble this punt down the left-hand side, and I'm not going to get a whole lot of yards out of this. They're going to mark it out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So just about a 20-yard punt I don't know if that was by design, and it very well could have been. I didn't fully scout Granite's punt return team. They may have a very dynamic person returning the kick, but nonetheless, he didn't get a chance to do it. So the Eagles will have first down and 10, roughly on the 30-yard line, their own 30-yard line. Tyler Hopper back in the game. Like we said at the top of the broadcast, that they're going to go a two-quarterback system. And number 85, Robbie Tennant, was the ball carrier for the Eagles. And he ran pretty hard to get those 4 or 5 yards there, and that's going to bring up second down. But as we said, the Eagles run a two-quarterback system, and they'll be switching between Meredith and Hopper during the course of the evening. So be prepared for that. Neither one of the quarterbacks looks like statistically have been able to assert themselves. They both have 3 touchdowns. Meredith has about a 200-yard, 190-yard advantage, I believe, in passing. He rolls to the right. Deshaun just misses having a sack there, and that's going to be an incomplete pass intended for number 85 once again, trying to get number 85, Robbie Tennant, involved, and that's going to be incomplete. And Nehemiah Brown did a nice job of blanketing Robbie Tennant on that play. So 3rd down and 6 for the Eagles. And this game seems to be, O'Day, kind of settling into this kind of a rhythm here. If you just tuned in, Valhalla jumped to a 14-0 lead after their first drive, and then the subsequent, they stopped the Eagles and then returned the next punt, so Elder did, for a touchdown. But ever since then, it's been pretty much pretty quiet game in terms of too much excitement. A couple interceptions here and there, turnovers, and there's going to be a tackle. Trey Brown taking Hopper down with authority there, and that's going to bring up 4th down and very long, and also another Eagle punt. Valhalla's defense, though, seems to be wide awake and ready to go.
And you were talking about them being quiet the whole game, and they not the whole game, after Valhalla's early lead, and they have on both sides and slowed down, but now they're probably at a minimum pace that's keeping Granite off the board and not getting them on the board, but at least keeping Granite away from the end zone.
All right, the punt is away. Elder back to try to return this, and he's going to let this bounce, and it's going to take an Eagle bounce. And they're going to actually mark that out at the 44-yard line. 7:27 left to go in the second quarter. Norseman up 14-0 over the rival Granite Eagles. And here comes Valhalla out to take over again and see what they can do with this. Now, Valhalla's been very quiet offensively since their first drive of the night. Ramsey Romano's had an interception, and we've had a couple 3-and-outs and not sustained a drive here. Out of the pistol, play action pass. Ramsey Romano's going to fall down, and I think he tripped either over Elder or Nehemiah Brown's feet or his own foot. And to say the obvious here, Valhalla's offense looks a little out of sync. And this is, I don't know if it's a case of them rotating in some players here and there, but this is not a good sign on going into the playoffs. You want to be as hot as possible, and that's a 9-yard loss, an unassisted sack, if you will. And a delayed handoff this time to Elder, and he's going to get, Nehemiah Brown. He's going to get a good chunk of those yards back, and he's hard to bring back. He changes direction to the right-hand side of the field. Nice block up front. He's around the corner. Nehemiah Brown's going to take this one the rest of the way. He's got a caravan of Norsemen. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Valhalla. So I think the Norsemen have awakened, and it's through the athleticism of Nehemiah Brown that we get that play. And there was a beautiful block out front by number 14, Warren Preston. Warren Preston making his Norseman season debut tonight, and he does it in big fashion with a beautiful block. 7 minutes left to go, and the Norsemen take a 20-0 lead over Granite Hills.
And Nehemiah Brown, on both sides of the ball, is one of the key players in this game, winning and scoring, and just definitely we call his name all the time, and well-deserved so.
Absolutely. Ian Hendrickson's kick is up, and it's good. 21-0 is the lead now with 7 minutes left to go in the first half. We were just talking about the lethargy of the Norseman offense tonight, and Nehemiah Brown woke everybody up. Nehemiah Brown is, like you said, O'Day, is a fabulous athlete, and I think that might even be an understatement. I think it goes without saying, in my opinion at least, that Nehemiah Brown is perhaps not just one of the best athletes on the field tonight, but maybe one of the best athletes in San Diego County. And I would say if he was an inch taller or 10 pounds heavier, he would have to be heavily sought by a lot of different schools. Now, I don't know what his path is. I know he's an amazing track athlete as well. But Nehemiah Brown is a joy to watch and has just been an enjoyable player to cover this year through Orange Nation TV.
Definitely.
There's also a great story, if those of you that have access to the internet, well, obviously have access to the internet and watch this game, but the Union Tribune did a wonderful news story on not only on Nehemiah Brown, but his mother. Nehemiah Brown's mom, Renethia Hall Brown, has been a longtime coach here at Valhalla. In fact, I coached with her for 7 or 8 years on the track program here, and football as well. And a phenomenal coach. And definitely you see where Nehemiah Brown gets a lot of those abilities, not only genetically, but just his knowledge of the game and his dedication to being the very best that he can. Rams Hermanos kick is through the back of the end zone, and the Eagles going to take the ball on the 20-yard line. So, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say we'll try getting our defensive starters back up again if you had something else to say.
No, that's absolutely right. Let's take a look at it.
Spencer Havard, number 3, free safety.
Nehemiah Brown, number 10, cornerback and running back.
Keith Rogers, number 26, running back.
Chris Ramsey, number 5, cornerback. Harley Hoyt, number 6, defensive back.
Miles Steed, number 2, outside linebacker.
Jacka Walls, number 25, outside linebacker.
Ryan Ernsbarger, 51, linebacker. Sean Burnett, number 54, linebacker.
Giuseppe Castanos, number 55, inside linebacker.
Ryan Ellis, number 89, defensive end.
Philip DiZillione, number 95, defensive line.
Taylor Mills, number 94, defensive end.
Deshaun Tone, number 21, defensive end.
All right, we just missed one play during that, but we definitely wanted those defensive starters, impact players, to get their due, and that was a completed pass for a first down to Josh Lombreak by Chris Meredith. Chris Meredith, the junior, is back in the game. That's a screen pass off to Prieto. Prieto off to the left-hand side, another first down. Granite has proved in subsequent plays and in a couple drives tonight that they can move the ball. But turnovers, those kinds of things, it's probably been, I'm guessing, their death knell this year, and one of the reasons why they're 1-8 coming into this game.
And the Norseman defense definitely has been a factor in previous games, and of course you said that they deserve the win in other games, and they got to show it in this game and all the way to the end.
Absolutely. So first down for the Eagles. Like I said, junior Meredith hands off to number 2. Nice tackle there. Spencer Havard came up and made a beautiful play. Jesse Bisbal, the running back, we talked about his size a little bit earlier. He runs with great strength, but nice, beautiful low tackle by Spencer Havard. One of the great slogans in all football is to be lower than your opponent, and you'll win every time. And Spencer Havard proves that in abundance, being considerably lower and getting down and making a nice play from his safety position. Valhalla's rotating in and out a lot of different players tonight, as we just saw Jacko Waltz run out quite quickly. Second down and 5. Deshaun Tone is not going to let this one get by him. He's been really flirting with sacks all night, and he got introduced to Chris Meredith right there for a significant loss on the play. That's going to bring up third down and about, we'll call it 11, with 5 minutes left to go in the half. So 2 steps forward and about 4 steps back there for the Eagles. And Valhalla's defense not bending and not breaking, but definitely making some big plays here tonight. We'll try to keep you abreast of some of these substitutions, because we really want some of these younger players and different players to get an opportunity to have their name announced. These change number. Another completed play there off to the left-hand side, and I believe that was to number 12 for the Eagles. I do not have a number 12 listed in my roster, so I do apologize if I did not say his name.
Yeah, he's wearing, because he goes both ways, he's wearing 58 and 89.
All right, so 4 minutes left to go in the half. It's 4th down and 4 for the Eagles when they come under center here. Meredith, the junior quarterback, is getting this series. And it shall be interesting to see if one of these quarterbacks gets the hot hand, whether they'll be able to stay in the game. Bisbal motions out, clears the backfield. Meredith rolls to the right. He's going to throw back across to number 18, Jacob Mazenga, and that's going to be short of a first down. Looked like a couple different Norsemen, Gustanos, Havard, and Arnsbarger on that tackle, and that's going to bring up a new possession, new series of downs for Valhalla. Warren Preston gets the ball, who's been very active blocking downfield for the Norsemen tonight, and he's going to show his quickness to the tune of about a 5-yard gain. 3:34 left to go in the first half, 21-0. Valhalla has jumped out to an early 14-0 lead. Seemed to take a few minutes of a break on them, and then came back with a beautiful Nehemiah run that put them at a 3-touchdown advantage. Jefferson, nice carry, moving the chains, I bet, on that play. We shall see where they mark it. And he did not move the chains. They're going to say he's about a yard short, so it'll be 3rd down and 1. 3 minutes left to go. Valhalla has all their timeouts, and has 2 of their timeouts. They have plenty of time to be able to take this ball to the half. Ramsey Romano there on the hard count has been very good the last few weeks, drawing people into that neutral zone. It looked like he had another case of Eagles jumping off sides there, but the officials did not see it that way. Ramsey Romano rolls to his right. A couple Eagles giving chase. Number 17 would be one of them, and Michael Landisma is successful in getting Ramsey Romano to go out of bounds, but not before he picks up the first down and moves that chain and stops the clock with 2:46 left to go in the fourth quarter. Second quarter. It's not been that long of a game today. I've actually enjoyed it immensely. I'm always enjoyed being here live on Orange Nation TV. We hope you do too. If you have any questions or comments of Orange Nation TV, send it to orangenationtv@gmail.com. Pass is complete to Nehemiah Brown. That's going to be about a 9-yard gain. So coming up at the half, I do believe that we did arrange for a Granite admin person, vice principal, to come up and talk a little bit about Granite Hills. We'll see if that happens. We've had that situation lined up in past games, and it fell apart. So Jefferson's handoff from Ramsey Romano is good for another big chunky yards there. That is going to be a first down. 2:15 left to go in the second quarter, right before half. Valhalla threatening to try to add to this 3-touchdown lead. I think they'd like nothing more than to put this game in pretty comfortable situation, being up 4 touchdowns going into the half, if that's possible. Jefferson gets the carry again, and he's going to get a couple yards on first down. If you like this broadcast, if you're a senior, for instance, and you want to watch this game and see how well you do over and over, you sure can, because this game's going to be available on demand on our Play on Sports channel, as far as I know, until the end of time. So hopefully, that'll be a long time from now, and you'll be able to enjoy this game over and over. Ramsey Romano, once again, there's that hard count again. Some people, I heard a Steel Canyon coach in our booth arguing that he was simulating the snap, but officials haven't seen that this year, haven't stated that anyway, and he's been very successful. Second down for Ramsey Romano. He's got pressure. Ramsey Romano is going to somehow dance away out of the first one. He fumbles the ball, and I think the Eagles might have just dodged a Norseman bullet. And it looks like the Eagles have recovered this ball. So Valhalla knocking on the door makes a pretty critical error. up 21-0, they have a little bit of room for error. But I think trying to finish this season out, regular season out on a high note, that's probably not going to be to Charles Bussey's liking. And I'm going to guess that Coach Bussey is going to have something to say about turnovers, considering they've now committed 2 in the first half. Now, thinking ahead to the playoff football, as I think most Norseman fans would be doing right now, you commit 2 turnovers in a half of football in the playoffs, it's probably going to be your last game of the year.
Definitely. And it's not something that they want to see, especially leading this far and so close to the touchdown as they were. But they got to get back from it.
All right, the fake handoff to Tennant, and they bring it back to, I believe, Kyle Norris possibly on the carry there. So 2nd down and 3 for the Eagles. And they may just be happy to let that clock roll a little bit. They don't want to give this ball back. They both have 2 timeouts, but the Eagles might claim a small victory just going in down 3 scores to a team that has been red hot the last few weeks and beating some pretty strong opponents. Pass this time by Hopper, who's back in the game, and that's going to be a completed pass, a beautiful catch by number 86. That is an impressive catch by Josh Longbreak. That is almost reminiscent of the old Giants play in a Super Bowl a few years ago. I think Tynes was the receiver who caught the ball on his helmet. And this guy Longbreak made a catch around the defensive player for Valhalla. Quite a great effort by the Granite Hills senior. Excuse me, he's just a junior. So that's first down for Granite Hills. They call a timeout. There's 26 seconds left to go in this first half. So they are in a position with 1 timeout to try to get in there and maybe get a score. And that would be quite a swing of momentum, because if they score, you could argue that's a 14-point swing, because it did appear that Valhalla was going to take this last drive into the end zone and try to make it a 4-touchdown score in the first half. Unfortunately, due to another turnover, that's not going to be a reality.
And we're definitely going to have some halftime stats for you to, if we get to the admin and finish off this second half and get into the, finish off the first half, and go into the second half. Norseman hopefully keeping their lead as a shutout, but we'll see what happens here in the closing second.
Tyler Roy, our resident statistician, or I can't even say that word, stats magician would probably maybe a better term for him, will be here to wow you with all things Valhalla stats. Pass is incomplete across the middle, and that's Hopper's been back in the game for this series, and it looks like the rhythm that they're going with from Granite is just rotating series for series between the 2 quarterbacks. 23 seconds left to go, 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. Just 23 ticks, like I said, to the end of the first half. And at first half, I believe, at halftime, I believe we're going to see a performance by our band. And we're also going to, I think, honor some senior cheerleaders and possibly some trainers that have put their time in for the Norsemen this year. So they clear the backfield. So 5 receivers for Hopper. Pressure off the side from Terrence Caracchio. And that's going to be enough to disrupt that pass and bring up 3rd down. So Valhalla doing one thing. They're bringing some athletes from the edges and getting them around with some success. Terrence Caracchio would be one of those examples there. He's a very athletic, quick player, number 20 for Valhalla, just a junior. I believe he's a senior, I'm sorry. Seemed like he was a junior, but he is a senior and makes a nice play there on senior night. Hopper's pass looking deep is going to get picked off by Miles Steed. Miles Steed has stepped up the last few weeks and really made a name for himself in the Valhalla secondary, and he finishes up this first half with another nice play, another interception, and I believe that's, they are going to call this incomplete. Well, they are calling that incomplete, but good defensive play nonetheless. So 4th down and 10 with 15 seconds left to go. I think you're going to see a shot to the end zone somewhere. I mean, Granite has the luxury of just chucking this ball pretty much anywhere on the field to try to either get a first down or try to get a score before half. So at the half, we're going to hear from Tyler Roy. We may hear from some Granite folks, and we're going to see, at least through your camera, the camera's shot, you're going to see some cheerleaders and trainers get honored. Hopper's pass is going to be broken up by a beautiful play by Spencer Havard. Spencer Havard, a force in the secondary, introduces himself quite ferociously to number 86, Josh Longbreak, who made a nice catch just a few plays ago. That is a turnover on downs, 10 seconds left to go. Valhalla is going to have the ball back. It remains to be seen to see what they try to do with that 10 seconds. They do have 2 timeouts. And as you can hear, the crowd is still responding to a vicious hit, a legal hit, but a vicious hit nonetheless by senior Spencer Havard, who's been really one of the spark plugs for this defense all year in the secondary. They're going to reset this ball back about a yard. I don't know if Kyle Myron, the center for Valhalla, decided to take a few yards on his own. If he did, that's good senior leadership right there. And we are going to pass here on 4th down to wide open Kevin Mills because they've dropped back coverage. Kevin Mills is trying to make a move, and that's going to go zeros on the scoreboard. So at the half, your Valhalla Norsemen 21, Granite Eagles 0. And we'll see at the half, after the half, if they can add to that lead. Ode, any closing remarks before we go to Tyler Roy and some statistics?
Well, the Norsemen definitely showed their offensive power, keeping 21-0 on the board, and their defense has showed their power by not letting Granite score. They have came off slow after their initial 14-0 lead. They definitely came back up, and with the Nehemiah Brown touchdown, and Nehemiah Brown touchdown, and began making some more efforts to get back into this game, and hopefully they can stay like that in the second half and not start slowing down and losing their momentum that they've gained at the end of this half.
I think the only thing I would be concerned with if I was on this coaching staff is, and maybe you just chalk it up to being this situation, but I believe Valhalla's offense has been out of sync tonight. And, one touchdown was off a special teams play. Another touchdown was really a created play by Nehemiah Brown's, athleticism. And we're not going to take anything away from Granite's efforts. Granite has showed up to play, but I really think it's been a bigger factor of Valhalla's offense just seeming to be out of rhythm. And, they were a little out of rhythm the last couple weeks to start a game. And I will just say this, and let me, mark the warning call, or sound the bell of warning, and that is Valhalla can't do this if they want to be a successful playoff team. It may work against the 1-8 Granite Hills Eagles. It may even work last week spotting a 14-point lead to Steel Canyon, but it's not going to help them win the games that they need to win in playoffs to, I think, do what this team is capable of doing. So that being said, we're going to hear from Tyler Roy, and if you're watching at home, if you're continuing to watch at home, right now in your screen, you're going to see the senior cheerleaders and trainers being honored, and hopefully you can see them being acknowledged on your screen right now. And then eventually we're going to have the band and the flag corps, and we will turn the audio over to them here shortly. But first, let's hear some statistics of first half. Tyler.
How's it going?
It's going outstanding.
Awesome. Well, pretty productive half for the Valhalla offense right now. Some big plays out there. We got Nehemiah Brown with his 56-yard run, running back and forth across the field, cutting back and get some blocks. It was a pretty nice play. Really interesting to watch. We got a couple nice reads by Ramsey Romano, hitting some good third and long for some first downs, and reading the Eagles defense a little bit to get his own yards and his own touchdown. On defense, we have 3 sacks. I did not get by who they were, but 3 sacks. And Sol Elder had a pretty nice punt return, 61 yards
Yep.
for a touchdown, which is not, you can't complain about that.
Now, I will say this, and I could be wrong. I believe that was the first punt return for a touchdown that Valhalla had this season. It's the first one I've seen, and that doesn't mean that they didn't have one on an away game or something that I didn't see. But very impressive punt return by the senior Soul Elder. What else stands out to you? What other observations have you made?
The spread of the Valhalla offense is intriguing. They have worked their offense to have everyone get the ball a few times, but giving everyone an equal chance to have a ball in a passing situation. It's people blocking for each other. Some people we haven't seen much of getting some big plays and getting some good play time, and it's really good to see that.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the great things about the spread offense is it does allow multiple players to get opportunities to touch the ball. And, while maybe a more run-centered power offense, maybe a wing T offense, may not be as fancy and only a few people touch the ball in a spread offense, a lot of those skill players get a chance to touch the ball in a lot of different ways. Very good observation there, Tyler. Anything else you want to say to the fans at home?
Not really, no. We're having a pretty good game. It's nice to see productive offense, even though I'd like to see a little bit more of the Granite Hills offense. They've been kind of quiet this half.
Absolutely. I think a lot of that's to the defense. But right now what we're going to do is, unless, Tyler, you have anything other exciting things you want to say? It didn't look like the people we had planned to interview at halftime are going to be able to be with us. I'm going to turn this mic over to our band. We're going to see the end of the senior night for cheer. And here pretty soon, Richard Alamanza's award-winning band is going to wow you. And our flag corps, also an award-winning flag corps, is going to wow you. So sit back and enjoy Valhalla students doing what Valhalla students do best, and that is participating in the arts. And you're going to see that here shortly. So we'll be back in a few minutes with the second half of senior night. Right now, Valhalla up 21-0 over their rival Granite Hills.
Under the student leadership of Cajon, the senior color guard Captain Emily Reed, the student staff would like to thank all of the parents who helped make our show the great product it is. Without these volunteers, we would not be the successful program we are, the best in East County, and participants at the Southern California Championship the last 4 years in a row. And now for your halftime entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Rancho San Diego, the Norseman Band and Color Guard.
I
behalf of the band, we want to thank all of our student leaders who make it so easy to work with all the students because of their spirit and dedication. Also, all of the Rancho San Diego Music Foundation board members who go above and beyond what a parent would or should do to support their children. And finally, we want to thank our wonderful staff. Barbie Anthony, our color guard advisor, Hugo Ramirez, our percussion advisor, Dan Huss, our marching technician, and Gary Backlund, our music writer and visual technician. Let's give them all, especially our middle school participants, another great round of applause. And of course, band director, Mr. Richard Almanza.
Okay, hopefully you got an opportunity to enjoy the very talented Valhalla Band and Flag Corps there at halftime. If you're just tuning in to just flipping over to our Play on Sports live webcast here on Orange Nation TV.
Brian Anderson.
Valhalla leads at the half 21-0 over their rival Granite Hills. And Tyler's going to step into O'Day's spot. O'Day's going to take his first ever step away from the producer's chair. It's hard to believe this is already our last game of the season. It's hard to believe that we've had this many live webcasts for Orange Nation TV. And speaking of which, if you want to watch any of the games that we've had this year, you sure can. They're all right now ready for you on demand on our website. So please make sure to check those out. There's been some exciting games this year. Tyler, what is your thoughts so far this year on being part of Orange Nation TV?
It's a great experience. It's something different. I've always wanted to be, someone that talks about sports, because sports is my life. I love sports, and so when the opportunity arose, I just had to jump on it, and I'm glad I did.
Absolutely. I was just counting up. Math is not my strong suit, but this is our sixth broadcast this year, our sixth webcast rather, of Valhalla Athletics live, our sixth football game. And we're going to add another one at the very least, a playoff game here in maybe a week or in 2 weeks, depending on which seed Valhalla gets in the Division II playoff hunt. We're also going to do 10 basketball games. So if you're a big fan of basketball, you're going to be able to tune in a lot of Fridays starting in the end of December and see your Orange Nation basketball team, your Norsemen, in the Thunderdome play a lot of league games. And they're going to be a pretty darn good team this year under the direction of head coach Keith Jackson. We'll also have the women's team, the Lady Norsemen, also on our webcast as well.
Basketball is always fun, so it should be interesting.
And especially in a nice festive environment like the Thunderdome. Nice, warm, cozy little place.
Good acoustics.
Can be very exciting on a Friday night, and we'll be a part of that, and hopefully you'll be a part of it too. Both teams are getting warmed up, getting a few little stretches in before they start the second half. And as we went to the half, my observation is that Valhalla's offense has been a little out of sync. One of the fears coming into this game would they take a 1-8 Eagles ball club seriously? And I don't doubt for a second that Valhalla's offense, doesn't have their head in the game. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think that it's hard to get excited after you've had literally 3 straight weeks of exciting football to play. 4 straight weeks. All of your league has been really an exciting year. One of the best league races I've seen in some time. And then to play the last game of the year against a game that, for all intents and purposes, might not really matter a whole lot.
Right. I would like to see that the Norsemen take it a little bit more seriously in the second half. They kind of been playing a little bit loose. But, the Granite Hills, they've won a game, and they're a football team, and just like any other team in the league, it's going to be, they play the game. It's not like they're brand new.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're coached by a serious group of people that want to win just as badly as anybody else, and they've come up short a lot of times this year, and this is the finale for them too. I will point out that Valhalla's defense has come to play today and has looked ever much the dominant force that they've become the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
I think going into the playoffs, if Valhalla's offense can hit that high gear that they've shown during different times this season, Valhalla could be a very dangerous team. And I know that we're a very North County leaning county with a lot of the better teams, the Ocean Sides being up there, and obviously Helix in our own backyard.
Yeah.
Those teams, Helix would have seen Valhalla before, but if you're some of these other teams, you may not know what might come knocking on your door come playoff season. If it's a group of Orange Norsemen, you may wish it wasn't. So
could be a really unpleasant surprise.
Absolutely, and I would have to say that we're going to definitely cover the home playoff game when it occurs, whether it's next week or in 2 weeks. But if Valhalla wins that game and goes on the road, somebody will cover it, whether it's just Play on Sports or it may be us. And I hopefully it is Orange Nation TV. I think we've done a really good job this year and bring something to the table that's enjoyable, hopefully, for everybody at home that can't attend these games. And I think a lot of our people who watch this game are actually watching it on replay. We have a lot of players that go home and watch it, and that's great to know that they're getting to see themselves play so well, and hopefully they enjoy it as well. Orange Nation TV hopefully is around to stay, or should be around for quite some time, and as we said, we have basketball coming up. We may even venture into baseball. Our very own Tyler Roy right here is a member of our baseball team here at Valhalla. I know we're a season, there's a season in between this one and baseball, but any bold predictions for the Norseman baseball team this spring?
Well, we're supposed to be pretty good this year. We got a pretty strong team. That's about all I can say.
That's a fairly humble and conservative response. So. So we're about ready to get this teed up and kick off the second half. As you can see on your screen, 21-0 at the half. Valhalla took the lead by the very first drive they had from the line of scrimmage, series they had. They drove the length of the field and scored. They then held the Eagles and then returned the next punt for a touchdown. They then proceeded to take about a quarter break of scoring. They took a little vacation and maybe took a nap, and they were reawakened by a beautiful 50-some-odd yard run by I think 56, you
56.
said. 56-yard run by Nehemiah Brown for a touchdown. That kick will be returned by number 14, and he's going to get a nice chunk of yards. That's Trent Jones, who's a junior, 5'11 junior, gets the ball up to about the 28-yard line. He's brought down by a couple Norsemen as they unpile. It looked like number 11, Yusuf Hermes, on the play. So first down for the Eagles, their first series for both teams in the second half. We'll see what adjustments were made. The Eagles might have celebrated somewhat of a moral victory, only being down 21-0. And I don't mean that as a slight. The Eagles have averaged in league 45-7, giving up 45 points, and there's a beautiful sack off the edge. And I believe that's going to be Philip Diaz de Leon for at least his second sack of the night. He's got to be feeling pretty good as he walks back to the defensive huddle. The Eagles have had scoring woes. They've been shut out in 2 of their 4 league games. They're being shut out in their 5th league game so far. And they've averaged only about 7 points in the other games that they've scored in. And they've averaged giving up approximately 45 points a game during league play. They're on pace for, a 42 night, 42 points if things continue the way they do.
Continue in the same rate, yeah.
And this is third down and 18. For the second down and 18 for the Eagles. And that is going to be a nice chunk of yards gained off the left-hand side there. That's number 2, Jesse Bisbal. Jesse Bisbal has been a big bulk of the offense, and he's limping as he goes to the sideline. We'll hope that Bisbal is fine. Jacko Waltz comes over. Keith Rogers on the tackle for Valhalla. Now, Jacko Waltz just ran off the field, number 25, and I look at his helmet, it's almost white. There's almost no orange paint left on it. Kind of interesting to see. He almost looks like he's got like pride stickers or something all over the front of that. And the fumbled snap, and he's in trouble, and that ball is going to be incomplete. I'll tell you what, Hopper paid the price. He picked up that mishandled snap there and was greeted by several Norsemen, pretty much the whole defensive line. Deshaun Tone and Philip Diaz de Leon and Trey Brown were there to say hello, and he was able to get that ball off, but still took a nice hit So Sol Elder back to return this punt. Sol Elder in the first half got on the board with a 60-yard punt return, 60-plus yard punt return for the Norsemen.
64 to be exact.
Thank you. Tyler, always exact in the stats. That's good. We need that. So that punt is going to go out of bounds, and Sol Elder will not get an opportunity to return that kick. So the Norsemen take the field for their first chance at offense in the second half. So I am pleading, I am summoning all the Norseman spirit in me to get this Valhalla offense back flying high where it belongs and to put another touchdown on the scoreboard. They may in effect have enough points to win this game, but I think as you prepare for the playoffs, you don't want to put your red hot offense to bed without really asserting themselves, and Jihad Elder will get a couple yards off the left-hand side. So second down for the Norsemen, 10-13 left to go in the third quarter. And I tell you what, after all the excitement we've had the last few weeks, it's actually a very quiet football experience here tonight at Valhalla. It's a very subdued crowd, and Valhalla's offense has played fairly subdued too. Ramsey Romano rolls out to the right. Beautiful block from Justin Salee. I know the ball goes incomplete, but Justin Salee making a great effort to protect his quarterback. So excellent effort there by the senior offensive lineman, number 52, Justin Salee. That's third down and 5, 9:52 left to go in the third quarter. Two receivers to the right and left of Ramsey Romano. Kevin Mills goes in motion. And that's going to be a fake handoff. We've got a little option to the right. Ramsey Romano is going to keep this first down and more. He's going to get brought down at about the number 19 on the play for the Eagles. Grant Henderson makes a nice shoestring tackle, or at least a nice low tackle on Ramsey Romano. One of those great added features of the athletic Ramsey Romano is the fact that he can run. He's a very athletic quarterback. There's a handoff to Elder. So that's going to bring up second down with 9:30 left to go in the third quarter. No. This one is ours. So second down for the Norsemen. Second down and 4, 9 minutes and counting. Kevin Mills goes in motion. There's Elder right up the middle. Jihad Elder, nice big chunk of yards there for number 8. If you feel like you've heard the name Elder before, that's because there's two Elders. They're twins. We have Sol, number 16, and we have Jihad, number 8. Now, I'm not sure which one was born first, and I don't know if Sol claims to be twice the man that his brother is at number 8. That's a math joke there, not a very good one. But Kevin Mills gets the ball and picks up significant yards to the right-hand side. But both Elders, both very talented seniors for Valhalla. Second down right here for Valhalla. 8:40 left to go in the third quarter. This is the first series on offense for Valhalla. Granite got the ball out of the second half and had to punt it back to Valhalla. Quick pass out to Ben Howard, one of his first receptions of the night, and that's going to get him down to about the 14-yard line, I believe. Christian Ortiz for the Eagles brings down Ben Howard. And this is going to be first down for the Norsemen. So pistol formation, a handoff to Elder, and he'll get very little on that carry. Good job by the Eagles up front. Looked like a couple of different Eagles. I saw Nick Marin in on the play, and as well as Jordan Tannehill for the Eagles. Second down and 8. Handoff to Elder again around the left-hand side. He makes a nice move, and he's going to still be on his feet, and he's going to find himself in the end zone, I believe. There's your official indication. Touchdown, Valhalla. So Jihad Elder finds his way off a nice 10, 11-yard run, finds himself in the end zone. Valhalla adds to its lead, goes up 27-0, pending Ian Hendrickson's extra point.
It was a nice job of keeping his feet right there.
Absolutely. You know, they always say play to the whistle, and he's a very strong, athletic running back, and necessarily the biggest running back. In fact, Jahad Elder is listed at 5'7", 146, but he's able to keep his feet. In Hendrickson's kick is good. So 28-0, 7:39 left to go in the third quarter, and Valhalla is well on its way to finishing senior night in good order and finishing out their regular season on a win. Now, two things are going to happen down the stretch. Maybe the Eagles realize that this game is not going to be theirs tonight, and maybe they, I'm not saying they quit, but maybe the momentum gets to them. But you also may see a lot of substitutions right now. Coach Bussey has 43 seniors, and obviously not all 43 seniors have played a lot this year. So with this much time left, up by 4 touchdowns, you may feel comfortable putting some of those players in, allowing them to get those minutes and to finish their career, you know, the right way on the field. So it should be interesting to see where we go from here. Obviously, we'll have a little bit of a playoff talk as well, and it would be great to know right now. I know it is on the radio right now, but the Helix is playing at Steel Canyon this evening. It'd be great to know what the score of that game is. Ramsey Romano's kick is going to get fielded by number 14, Trent Jones. Trent Jones is going to get up over the 20 to the 24-yard line, 23-yard line. Nice return by Jones, and the Eagles will get the ball. And they will try to break into the score column, and they'll try to do something about this deficit that they find themselves in. But as I was saying tonight, the Steel Canyon Cougars, who were soundly defeated last week by your Norsemen, if they could somehow pull off a victory tonight against Helix, it would give Valhalla a share of the conference, the league title, and that would be a pretty nice thing to have, I would think. I don't think anybody would return that gift.
No.
That's a nice carry to the right by, I believe that's Kyle Norris again on the carry for the Eagles. Kyle Norris, I believe, was getting another carry for the Eagles tonight. Ryan Arnsberg on the tackle on the last play. This brings up second down. Norris. Second down and 7 right here for the Eagles. Kind of more of a power set for the Eagles. They're going to play action pass out, roll out to the right, and that's Meredith's path is going to be complete. Looks like to number 86.
That was a nice catch.
It was a nice catch by number 86, Josh Longbreak, and he had a nice first half. He caught a really spectacular catch around the helmet of a Norseman defender in the first half. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, you may want to go back and watch the first half when you can. It is available on demand. Also, Longbreak was the recipient of quite a marvelous tackle by Spencer Havard also in the first half. So definitely had both good and bad occur to him in the first half. First down and 10 for the Eagles, 6:15 left to go in the third quarter. Chris Meredith, the junior, is back in during this drive, and Eagles have been swapping quarterbacks all night. He's going to look deep, and he's got Tennant wide open, or excuse me, not wide open, but he did make a nice catch. He split the Norseman defenders, and Robbie Tennant's pretty happy about that. That'll be one of the biggest gains of the night for the Eagles, and Eagles are showing no quit. And that's really what you come to expect in a rivalry game. No matter what the score, they still want to play.
Yeah.
Nehemiah Brown on that last tackle. Nehemiah Brown always getting good stats on both sides of the ball. A wonderful defender, has already had an interception tonight. He's also had a great run on offense, so good job for Nehemiah Brown. 5:40 left to go, third quarter. Prieto goes in motion for the Eagles. All right, that's number 25 on the carry, Christian Ortiz. Martin McCoo, the senior, who's been a really good specialist on special teams this year, making a nice tackle on defense, and that might be an opportunity for McCoo to get some plays on the defensive side of the ball, but he's done a wonderful job on special teams this year, often being one of the fastest people downfield on punts and kick returns and things like that, and good job from Martin on that tackle. 2nd 11 right now for the Eagles, down 4 touchdowns, looking to try to break that drought against Norseman. Last year, Valhalla was able to defeat Granite Hills 47-14 in another one-sided affair. And for all intents and purposes, this game's been pretty one-sided as well. That pass is complete to number 83. Meredith's pass is a nice pass, and I do believe Meredith has had the bulk of the yards as number 83. And I don't have a number 83 on my roster. Spencer Havard on the tackle for Valhalla.
Another good tackle.
That's right, and I don't have a number 83 on my roster, so I do apologize for any Granite Hills Eagles fans listening to the broadcast tonight. Nice catch, another nice first down, and Meredith seems to get these Eagles going and has had a little more success than his counterpart, Mr. Hopper, or Tyler Hopper, rather, tonight. Pass by Meredith is going to be complete. And a nice tackle there by, looks like by Arnsbarger on the play, number 51. And the pass was complete to number 86, Lonsbrake. Josh Lonsbrake becoming a big part of this offense in the second half, and the first half rather, for the Eagles. 2nd down and 6. We're under 4 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Valhalla is up 28-0. Prieto in motion, and they're going to run towards the motion as they've done several times tonight. It looks like number 25, Christian Ortiz, will be up near the first down. And a little delay on getting you those numbers of tackles. Sometimes it's difficult to see who made that play. There's a couple of Valhalla Norsemen. Looks like a bulk of the starters are still in for Valhalla. And this has definitely been the deepest penetration of the night for the Eagles as 3rd and 1 rolls up for them, and they'll see if they can convert and flirt with scoring a touchdown against the Norsemen. Ortiz gets a carry, and it looks like he's going to have a first down.
Another carry by Ortiz. There is a fumble on the play.
And we'll look for the indication on. They may be giving the ball here to Valhalla. There was a possible fumble on that play, and I see some Norsemen celebrating. And once again, the Eagles do something good. The Eagles do something good, and unfortunately, they turned the ball over. Last time, it was an interception by Nehemiah Brown, and now it's a fumble deep inside Norseman territory. And sometimes, Tyler, when you're 1-8, you just can't buy a break.
No.
And absolutely an opportunity gone by the wayside for the Eagles. They had a chance to score, and not just pride points at this point. I mean, there's an opportunity to climb back into the game and make it within a couple touchdowns there. But nonetheless, Valhalla will get the ball back. Ramsey Romano still in at quarterback. Now, you have to be careful down here. You don't want to turn the ball over, and you're definitely deep in your own territory. You want to at least get a few first downs and hopefully maybe go the length of the field. Ramsey Romano's going to keep this ball. He tucks it under. He's going to get a chunk of yards there and brought down by a couple Eagles. It's a nice healthy gain there on first down for Valhalla. That'll bring up 2nd down for Valhalla. And there's another scramble there for it looked like maybe a ball might have came out, but I don't know. It looks like Valhalla's going to retain possession there. And Jihad Elder on the carry there for Valhalla. And that's going to bring up 3rd down. 3rd and 2 here, and you'd like to see Valhalla convert this, continue to work that clock with 1:46 left to go in the 3rd quarter, and extend this drive a little longer, and definitely go down the field and try to get a score. Pass is going to be over to Ben Howard. That's complete, and that's going to be enough for a first down. He's pushed out of bounds by, looks like number 25 and number 20, both teaming up to make that play. Christian Ortiz and Terrence Battle teaming up to bring him down out of bounds, but not before he gets a first down. First and 10, 1:32 left to go in the third quarter. Quickly up to the line come the Norsemen. Quick pass out to Kevin Mills. Kevin Mills has got a lot of room in front of him, and he's going to pick up that first down and a few more yards as he's pushed out of bounds by a bunch of Eagles on the far side. So once again, the spread option, or excuse me, the spread offense of Valhalla making things difficult for the Eagles. Kevin Mills is a wonderful athlete. He's also a track athlete, and when he gets separation and gets one-on-one matchups, he can definitely dominate all night long. First down and 10 for the Norseman. Ramsey Romano looks like he doesn't have anybody to throw to. He's going to use his athleticism to try to get out of danger here. He's still on his feet. Nice comeback block there. Looked like Jihad Elder sprung him for a few yards off the left-hand side. And Ramsey Romano, like he's done most of the time this year, has turned disaster into a pretty nice gain there. And that's going to move the chains there. From rags to riches on that play goes Ramsey Romano. 1:13 left to go. Valhalla gets a third quarter, and Ramsey Romano is able to get another first down for the Norsemen. And that's Jihad Elder. He blows through the defensive line of the Eagles. A lot of good blocks as well, so let's give credit where credit's due. But Jihad Elder's having another night, and you know what, Norsemen have really missed him, and Valhalla's won some significant games lately without him. But going into the playoffs, it's nice to have another running back, and they get him back tonight, ready to go.
He's always been big numbers on the board, so.
Absolutely, he's definitely a fun player to watch, very aggressive and fast. Kevin Mills goes in motion for the Norsemen. Ramsey Romano's going to let this ball go. It was intended for Preston, for number 14, Warren Preston. It falls short, though, and he had a little pressure, and it looks like Ramsey Romano's getting up a little slow. He did get a nice hit on his blind side, which is one of the worst places to be hit when you don't see it coming. That's one of the big goals, I think, tonight, other than to win the game, is to stay healthy going into the playoffs. So we'll monitor Ramsey Romano. He's a pretty tough kid, so I don't know if a little hit like that's going to phase him, but definitely not something you want to see much more of.
No, he looks pretty good.
Elder's going to get the carry again. He's got Jefferson up front blocking. Elder's not going to need that block because he walks into the end zone. And on senior night, Valhalla adds another touchdown to their already significant lead. And barring Hendrickson's extra point, Valhalla could be up 35-0 on the Eagles with 44 seconds left to go in the third quarter. That's, I think right now, Valhalla's offensive line starting to assert themselves and starting to, you know, I have to admit, or excuse me, I'd have to guess that, you know, after that turnover, well, there's a mishandled, bobbled snap, I should say. Harley Hoyt tries to make something out of it, and he's brought down for a loss, a considerable loss, nowhere near being able to convert that. That was not a by design two-point conversion. That was just a bad snap and a difficult hold on that play. So 34-0, and with 44 seconds left to go, Valhalla has a commanding and comfortable lead. Now I think you're going to see probably a few more backups. What do you think, Tyler?
You should see some substitutions right now as they get a little bit more comfortable and head into the fourth quarter, but you never know. I mean, anything can happen.
Absolutely, anything can happen. And if you're sitting here tonight, I can't explain how different of an atmosphere tonight is compared to the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was exciting. You go a couple weeks ago, we were over at Grossmont. Grossmont was undefeated. We were sitting on their science building. Their fans were loud and raucous, and the whole night was very electric, and with a Valhalla win nonetheless. And then last week against Steel Canyon, same type of atmosphere. And then tonight, it just seems like there's no air in the place. It's just almost like you're at a, I don't know,
very quiet.
Yeah, very, I don't know, a recital of some sort. I mean, it's I see people in the stands carrying on conversations. I'm looking for somebody reading a book. Maybe some of my students are out there studying. That's would be a good opportunity. But there's still a whole quarter left to go. So we're going to be here. Orange Nation's not going anywhere. Orange Nation TV.
Nope.
So if I scan the team out there, number 67 is in for Valhalla, and I'll get a number there. That's a number I have not seen much of this year. So trying to call out some of these new players that we've seen here. Blake Adamson, a junior, was in for a couple plays there. Did a nice job. Stefano, Hill, number 72, is now in for Valhalla. And I'm sorry, I just butchered his name, and I do apologize for that. Second down for the Eagles. 40 seconds left to go in the third quarter. There's a lot of those seniors and different players. And that's a bobble snap. Hopper's going to get brought down. And that's Philip Diaz de Leon again. And I'm going to say number 3 on the game for him. And he may be even pushing 4 sacks if you give him some credit for some other plays earlier. So what a senior night Philip Diaz de Leon is having tonight as that clock rolls under 20 seconds here in the third quarter.
He's got at least 3.5 sacks right
Absolutely. A wonderful game played by him. And I know I've said it a few times, but I'm going to say it again. Valhalla's defensive line has become, I think, just the monsters of that I've seen, that everybody hoped they would become. And so that ends the third quarter, 34-0. Senior night here, Rancho San Diego. Valhalla commanding lead right now, comfortable lead over their rivals of Granite Hills. Both sides, both fan bases are staying in their seats. They're watching this game to the end. It's been a really one-sided rivalry. Right now coming into this, Valhalla's won 10 of the last 11 games, and this will make it 11 of the last 12 after one more quarter. So definitely the sides have switched. I know Granite for a time had really dominated this rivalry, and Valhalla has taken that back over.
Yeah.
Any observations going into this fourth quarter, Tyler, that you want to make? Anything that jumps out at you?
I think that with the lead that Valhalla has right now, the Granite Hills Eagles are probably just going to run the ball and pound their defense with as much running as they can. They really can't afford to give up an interception or anything that big. So keep it safe, play safe, and get some extra yards under your belt before the season's over.
Good observation there. 3rd and 14. Tyler Hopper is the quarterback, the senior. And one of the things that I've noticed is I really think Meredith has had much more success tonight moving the ball. And as sure as I say that, Granite does get a few yards there, but I think that's going to bring up 4th down. But what I was saying is Tyler Hopper, the senior, has rotated with Chris Meredith tonight. And Chris Meredith has really had more success. And I kind of thought maybe they would stick with Meredith. He's played well tonight. Not that Hopper has done a terrible job. It's just it seems like Meredith has had more success. But that being the case, Valhalla is going to force Granite to punt, and it'll be 4th down and 10. 11 minutes left to go in this senior night here at Valhalla High School. Sol Elder, the ever dangerous Sol Elder, back at about the logo to try to field this punt. So Elder is going to field this punt, and he's going to try to change directions, and he's going to probably wish he hadn't. He does make back a move to the sideline and does get a few of those yards back, but typically when you give up some yards like that, it's not going to end well.
No.
Unless you're Barry Sanders. And even Barry Sanders, and Tyler, you're probably too young to even know who Barry Sanders was, but nonetheless, I went Barry Sanders, and somebody at home has to appreciate that reference. Probably somebody of similar age to me. 1st down and 10, under 11 minutes left to go in this one-sided football rivalry between Valhalla and Granite. And if I had one piece of advice to Granite Hills, bring back the big Eagles wings on your helmet. I really like those. The little eagle on the side is not quite as impressive as just the big old eagle wings like the Philadelphia Eagles have. So that would be my advice to if you're a Granite person with any sort of pull at school, that's what I'd like to see. Pitch to Jefferson off the left-hand side, and he's going to pick up 4 or 5 yards there on 1st down for Norseman. So Daniel Rodriguez makes his 2012 debut. At least it's the first time I've seen him play. He's a senior quarterback, 5'11", 166 pounds. Not getting a lot of playing time this year because of Ramsey Romano's success, but going to get significant snaps here in the fourth quarter. Warren Preston goes in motion. Jefferson, though, is the one that's going to be the carrier, and he's going to tough out another yard or two there for Valhalla. Third down. So Daniel Rodriguez probably enjoying his opportunity now. I would not think that he'll get many chances to throw the ball. Now, I know he got to play actually, remembered he did get to play against West Hills, and he actually threw a ball for a touchdown late in the game. So he has opportunity. He has experience throwing the ball. He does get to throw the ball there to John Boyd. The ball is pass is complete to John Boyd. John Boyd doing a good job this year blocking for the Norsemen. There gets a chance to catch it. And number 17, Michael Ledsma, makes the play for Granite. That'll be a first down for the Norsemen, and we are under 10 minutes left to go. Hand off to Jefferson, and he's a tough kid to bring down, very tough runner. Looked like number 74, 72 rather. And they're saying Tannehill was the one on the tackle. So second down and 5 for the Norsemen. Still have a good deal of receivers out there that you've seen before. John Boyd to the near side, or John Todd to the near side. Hand off to Jefferson. Nice explosive run off the left-hand side. Valhalla still moving the ball with ease. Try to get some other numbers here that are out there on the field that you may not have got to see much this year. Number 19, Alex Acosta, is out there for the Norsemen right now. Alejandro Acosta, number 19. Now Acosta will find himself in the backfield right next to Rodriguez. And Jefferson, the deep back, who will get the carry again. Nice carry for Jefferson, who's, like mentioned earlier, is the biggest of the Valhalla running backs at 5'9", 191 pounds. That'll move the chains. First down and 10 for Valhalla. Nice time-consuming, grinding drive for Valhalla. And you can probably hear right now on the webcast, the cheerleaders are a little louder than normal because you have the Granite Hills cheerleaders over here doing a cheer with Valhalla. So they're reaching hands across the rivalry there to cheer on the home side. And it still seems to be pretty quiet over here. The fans pretty much thinking about that playoff game possibly. Jefferson busts a big run off of the right-hand side, right up through the teeth of the Eagles defense. And that'll be good enough for another first down. We're seeing tonight a couple linemen being rotated in as Cole Anderson runs off the field. First down and 10, 7:30 left to go in the game, and we're going to have a whistle blown here. And we're going to get a timeout by Valhalla. Sometimes when you sub players, you definitely have to maybe call a timeout here and there to talk things over. So Valhalla in comfortable control, getting some players some opportunities to play. Kind of let you know at home some things coming up. Like we said before, playoff-wise, Valhalla is either looking at a 4 seed or a 5th seed. If they get the 5th seed, we're going to have a home playoff game next week. Make sure you tune in here live, Orange Nation TV. And as we scan the field, we're scanning the crowd to give you a look at the student section there, pretty subdued. But as I say, if we get the 5th seed, we'll be at home next week. If we get the 4th seed, we'll still get a home game, but it'll be in 2 weeks.
I don't know. I think that if we get the 5th seed, we'll have the next upcoming game, and we'll be able to keep some momentum. through a quiet game like this, I mean, as quiet as 34-0 can be, we'll be able to keep a little bit of roll going instead of having a bye week and then possibly, getting soft.
And that is the argument. I did talk to Coach Bussey today, and that was one of the Acosta goes in motion and gets the carry, and he's brought down by several Eagles. But that was the conversation I had with Coach Bussey today. Was about that same thing. Do you hope for the 5th seed or the 4th seed? Do you want to play next week, or do you want some time off? I think Valhalla got a little bit of momentum back offensively, although it's hard to always say because the level of competition is a little different than what they may see in the playoffs. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I really don't know. I think either way, Valhalla will get a home playoff game, and that's probably what we should celebrate the most. As Warren Preston off to the right-hand side, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Nice run there by Warren Preston. Valhalla is adding some players here late in the season that for whatever reason were unable to play earlier in the season. And so Valhalla's got some weapons that maybe some of these teams that may have scouted them haven't seen earlier. So that's a positive also going into the playoffs. So Daniel Rodriguez still in at quarterback and relieving Ramsey Romano early. And Acosta off the left-hand side. He has Jefferson out blocking in front. Makes a nifty move to try to get to the sticks, but he can't, or to the goal line, but can't quite get there. It'll move him a little bit closer to pay dirt. 6:22 left to go in the game. Valhalla in control, 34-0, looking to add on to that lead here on senior night. Once again, the constant substitution of players, getting a lot of people looks, which is exactly what you'd want out of a season finale like this. Getting a lot of people opportunities to play and take advantage of their hard work. And Jefferson, speaking of hard work, doesn't have a lot of hard work as he powers it right up the middle. And that's a touchdown for Valhalla. For the senior, Mr. Jason Jefferson scores from a few yards out, so 5:55 left to go in the game. Norsemen take a 40-0 advantage over the Eagles. Ian Hendrickson out here to kick, and if you're going to be a coach and you want to look for things to improve upon, we've had a little difficulty with the long snap on field goals and PATs the last few weeks. Harley Hoyt's done a really good job of digging some of these out. But, that's something maybe to work on for next week or the week after. But that kick is good. Good hold, good snap. And that's going to be 41-0 Norsemen. And I think you're going to see an even more larger group of players coming off the field to play tonight.
Yeah.
There seems to be a flag on the play. We'll see what looks like the point's going to stand, so it's not going to be there. It may be another unrelated penalty. We'll see. It is a personal foul against Valhalla. That'll be enforced on the kickoff. So Valhalla's going to have to kick this ball off from 15 yards behind what they normally do. That could factor into a return here. So Tyler, what are some of the things you've enjoyed the most about being part of Orange Nation TV this year?
Well, I mean, the team we have is just a great group of people, such good energy, and just it's good to. There's some people that I've never actually talked to before that I've gotten to know a little bit better, and it's always good to find some new people to converse with and have something in common with and see them every week or so.
Absolutely, and if you're sitting at home or if you're a student or you know somebody that wants to get involved, there's still plenty of opportunities to get involved with Orange Nation TV. We are not beating people away with a stick. It's an open opportunity for anybody that has an interest in this. And Ian Hendrickson's going to kick off from the 25, which is 15 yards further back than what he's used to. And this is going to be easily fielded at number 20 on the 20-yard line by number 14. And he's brought down by at least one of the tackles early on was number 24, Daniel Leone. And number 14, Trent Jones returns that ball up to the 30-yard line. So the 15-yard walk-off definitely played a role into being able to return that kick.
Makes a big difference. That minus those 15 yards, that kicks on the 5-yard line.
Okay, one of the things with the point differential being 41 points now, we're now going to go rolling clock. So the clock's going to run no matter what occurs, barring maybe an injury, obviously. But you're going to see this game go by even more quickly. But hopefully a lot of different people will get an opportunity to make a play. All right, so a couple different Norsemen making their way onto the field. Looks like Vinton Parliamentier is in, the senior, playing outside linebacker, I believe. Vinton Parliamentier in for the Norsemen. Pass back to number 18 is Meredith's pass, and he's going to miss tackle there. It would be enough for a first down. Number 27. Number 27 for the Norseman. I do not have him on the roster, but he made a nice tackle there. That'll move the chains, moving clock here, rolling clock, 4:15 left to go in the game. Eagles trying to get a drive, try to break up this drought, try to end the shutout. I think one thing nice that if Valhalla can do it, they've allowed the Eagles to get deep into territories twice tonight, but they turned the ball over both times as Meredith, or as Hopper rather, has trips right. He's going to let this ball go, and that ball is narrowly intercepted. At least from my vantage point, it looks like it almost was intercepted by number 6, which is Harley Hoyt. Harley Hoyt, the junior, almost had a spectacular interception there and would have done what I just had said I thought might happen, and that is forcing another turnover. But a shutout would be pretty nice. You know, I think that's what you're fighting for if you're in there.
That'd be a good momentum bringer for the playoffs, for
right.
sure.
So you have number 24, Daniel Leone, out there in the secondary. Number 27, who I do not have a roster number for. Yusuf Hermes, number 11, is out there as well. And Chris Ramsey is on the far side at cornerback for your Norsemen. We have a couple changes on defensive line, too. Brian Ellis, number 58, is in the game, but he gets in from time to time as well. And there's a couple more Norsemen that run out on the field. Terrence Karankio is out there, number 28. Looks like Brennan Tyner just came on the field for the Norsemen as well. Trying to get all these numbers mentioned. These people have worked hard. They deserve to have their number called. Number 45, Jacob Jensen, out on the field for the Norsemen. And Carlos Cortez also makes his way on the field for Valhalla. 2:30 left to go in the game. Rolling clock, 41-0. Norsemen all over the Eagles tonight. There's Terrence Karankio coming off the side. The pass is complete, though. And nice tackle there. And I'll try to see the number. Looks like number 24 on the tackle. Daniel Leone makes a nice tackle for Valhalla. That's going to bring up 4th down here. So if you want to preserve the shutout, you got to make a stop here on 4th down. And we'll see if some of these reserve players can do that. Looks like number 70 is out on the field for Valhalla, and I do not have that on my roster either. And we're recognizing right now the senior cheerleaders, and the cheerleaders have done an outstanding job this year cheering on the Norsemen and doing the things that they do well. Hopper back to pass, could be the last play of the game for the Eagles, and it will be. That's an incomplete pass. Barring some sort of disaster on offense, Valhalla is probably just going to come out here, roll the rest of this clock, and they're going to take this shutout to a good way to end this regular season game versus their rival, Granite Hills Eagles. So if this holds, this will be the 3rd shutout that Granite has recorded in their 5 league games. Obviously, not a statistic that you're going to be very happy with if you are an Eagles fan. They have a lot of work to do, and I'm sure they'll do it getting ready for next year. So the victory formation here for Valhalla. Daniel Rodriguez makes probably one of the best plays of the night, and that is just taking the knee to run this clock. And we are under a minute now. Valhalla will have to take another knee at least to run the rest of this game out. Depends on when the official marks this. So this will be 2nd down, but all intents and purposes, that doesn't matter whatsoever as we line up this shot on the victory formation. So a lot of clapping being done here on the home side. And both groups of seniors will wrap up their game as Daniel Rodriguez takes another knee. That brings us down to 25 seconds left to go in this game, and we're well on our way as the teams are going to line up to shake hands. Well, another installment of Granite versus Valhalla is over, and Valhalla says, Valhalla extends their domination to now take their 11th win in 12 meetings between the two. And so Valhalla extends that domination of Granite another year to the tune of 41-0 as that last tick goes off the clock. There are 43 seniors shaking hands for the very last time in the regular season, the very last time that they'll play the Granite Hills Eagles, and they've had the upper hand. Like we said, the last many meetings for over a decade now, Valhalla has dominated this rivalry. This is going to advance Valhalla's record to a very impressive 7-3 overall and 4-1 in league, and at the very least locks them into second place all by themselves. Eagles fall to 1-9 and 0-5 in league play, and so obviously they're not going to be real proud of that, and that will be the end of the season for the Granite Hills Eagles. Valhalla runs through their cheerleaders to come back to the sideline, and Valhalla's not done. In fact, I think that they have the enough gas in the tank to go for a couple weeks, and absolutely. As Brian Anderson, who did a wonderful job announcing the second half for us, just exited the booth. His son, Cole Anderson, on the offensive line, number 50, did a great job anchoring that offensive line tonight. We're going to talk to O'Day here in a little bit, get some of those stats as you see Coach Bussey brings his Norsemen to their post-game meeting. But we'll talk about the playoff picture here in a second, but let's turn it over to O'Day Yusuf right now on those stats. O'Day.
Mr. Owens, this second half was really a great comeback for the Norsemen. They had some slow times in the first half, but they were still leading, but they came back and did some great things. They had some great defensive plays. They were able to limit Granite and keep them short of yardage. Granite did have some great plays going down the field, but for the most part, Valhalla was able to keep them very minimal. In terms of numbers, I honestly don't have that much information for you.
Okay.
But their players, like Meredith, did a great job for them, as well as Dismal had a lot of great plays for Granite themselves, and their quarterback in Tenen and many others on Granite. Their senior game, their last rivalry game in terms of the high school level, it's not what they wanted, but they definitely played a great game. But onto our Norseman side, 41-0 shutting out Granite, their last game of the regular season, and going 4-1 in league now, and second place, which is only down to Helix, which Helix has traditionally always been in first, and they've definitely been a great power in this league in their offense and defense, and they have leaders on both sides of the ball in terms of stats all over the place, and really showed what they can do on the field today, and hopefully that will translate with the works of Ramsey Romano and on the defensive side as DeLeon, Deshaun Tone, Ryan Ernsbarger and others, and Spencer Havard and then Nehemiah Brown on both sides of the ball, going into playoffs and showing Valhalla and showing how the Norsemen can be dominant and are dominant.
Absolutely, and I think one of the things that you just pointed out is very true, and that is the utter domination of how much Valhalla's defensive line has done down the stretch to really turn the tide. Coming into the season, it was all about the offense, but finishing the season, I think it's all about the defense, and that bodes well for Valhalla. If you're at home watching this game, we really appreciate you watching this live webcast. If you're watching it on demand, thanks for watching it here on Orange Nation TV. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We'll see you next week or maybe the week after, but either way, it's going to be a Valhalla playoff game. So hopefully you'll be here to watch us break down the Norsemen as Valhalla takes it on the road or at home and on their search for a CIF title. Thank you. On behalf of Orange Nation TV, this has been John Owens and O'Day Yusuf. We hope you enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you back here on Orange Nation TV.